What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Lore Reloaded. As always, it is my pleasure, my extreme pleasure, to see all of you guys here to be your host to entertain you. If not, bring a little wisdom to your life. I don't know what I would talk about. Figured I'd say hi. Everything says that you guys should be here and should be watching at this time, at least the analytics. I'm not 100% sure how true that is, but we can go from there, see what happens. You know how it is. I did want to start off by talking about something interesting. What's going on, David? The Bane Blade protects, good sir. The Bane Blade protects. Something interesting, at least, that I was thinking about, that I actually got, believe it or not, from Axonar earlier today. So Alec Peters did a morning brunch thing. I'm not sure if he does that all the time or not, but he was talking, and I was listening to the stream, as it were, and he brought up something that I thought made a little bit of sense, believe it or not. He was talking about how Kurtzman ultimately listens to what we have to say. And I don't think he's necessarily wrong when you put everything into context. So, consider. Discovery Season 1 is universally panned. Even people who like Season 1 admits that it could be better. Only like the farthest unreachable person would say there weren't issues. Season 2, while still somewhat on par with Season 1 and a lot of the issues, was better. They actually pulled back from Michael to a degree. There was more of an ensemble. They introduced Captain Pike, who is like absolutely loved. People think Season 2 is great because of Pike. Not sure I agree on that, but it was something that a lot of people were really gearing for. And then in Season 3, they removed Discovery from the prequel era and put it way, way past Voyager. So, there's that. Picard was somewhat meh, but I think we can all agree that it was better than Discovery. And it took some of the hard lessons and more opened it up. Lower Decks is generally liked by Nostalgia era or Legacy era fans. And we're getting Strange New Worlds, which is supposed to be episodic. And so, regardless of whether you like what Kurtzman has done, if you don't like the style, you don't like the writing, I think it would be pretty hard to say he's not at least open to criticisms that he sees. I would say Kurtzman's smart enough not to rely on yes, but I would actually agree with that. I would. I decided this morning to watch Invincible, and I'm on the final episode, going to go back to it, and then come back here if it's still. See you later. See you, Cormac. Hope you enjoy it, man. It's really good. Picard was worse than Discovery, in my opinion. I disagree. I hard disagree. Especially Season 1, Discovery Season 1. I don't know if it's Kurtzman specifically, but I am completely certain that they are listening. Yeah, Remington, I'd almost, it has to be. Kurtzman is the one that runs it. He's the one that ultimately all approval goes through. So maybe you, I don't know, Invincible is a solid, Invincible is a really good show. I'd suggest it for anyone. Now, it's not for kids, for sure. It's superheroes, but what would realistically happen to superheroes if physics and actual pain was a thing. So I would consider that. But yeah, overall I liked it too. You know, the what really frustrates me, like to no end, Picard episode 1 and 2, really solid. Like, I think they're really, really good when it comes to leading into what the show could have been. And they don't even get off the planet. So, and then it goes downhill from there. It doesn't, unfortunately, it doesn't have a resurgence like we see, I think, in some of the others. Anyway, so we got Strange New Worlds, which is going to be episodic. It's going to be a return to like the original series. Phil, I'm not a huge fan of the original series myself, but well, let me rephrase that. It's not that I'm not a huge fan. It's the weakest one for me. I really wish we could get away from TOS era. It's not that I'm not a huge fan. It's just I wish we could get away from TOS era. Of course, my future wife, April Vivier, has answered, so that's always a fun-filled adventure. But yeah, so it's what people said they wanted, so we'll see. I'd be curious who hired the latest round of writers for Picard, because Goldsman can write drama, but he wrote Batman and Robin and Lost in Space, so I have doubts about the newer stuff. I don't trust the advertising. The advertising of CBS has always been, it's on UPN levels of dishonest, if not worse. So, Winston has finally caught one. Well, I knew that you would be available, Winston. That is exactly why I did this at this time. Don't usually watch the live streams, but seeing Kurtzman listen to us just seems so remarkable. I had to take a listen. What's up, Jeffrey? Well, I'm glad you can make it. Yeah, I know that a lot of people don't watch this. I've already went over it, but I will briefly recap. And it's good. We're now being watched by Karen. It's always good to have a Karen in the mix. Oh, I bet that gets old. I bet that joke gets old a lot. Season 1 of Discovery was awful. Season 2 pulled back from Michael and introduced Captain Pike. Season 3 made it basically ensemble. There are some really Michael-focused spots, but basically ensemble. Picard was better than, I think, Discovery Season 1 and Season 2, though it was still meh. Lower Decks hits it out of the park, and Strange New Worlds is supposed to be returning to the original series film, which I'm not particularly excited for, but a lot of people want that. And he's running the show. He's running the boat. So and again, this was me, because I listened to a live stream this morning by Alec Peters of Axonar. And I thought it was interesting. What's going on, Locutus? Well, interesting thing, Locutus. I actually, a program, the analytics, told me that 2 o'clock is when I should do live streams on Sundays. So I figured, hey, let's try it and see what happens. I'm here because it gives me the false impression that I have friends and I like Star Trek. Well, Michael, you have all kinds of friends here, Michael. Michael, I'm your friend. And I think I speak for all 31 people here. We're all your friends. Okay? Every one of us. Even those who aren't your friends are your friends. So, that's a thing. That's a thing. The more I learn about behind the scenes of the new Trek, the more I think Kurtzman is in charge of keeping a consistent style, and Rod Roddenberry handles story continuity. I don't think there's any. I'd be interested in where you get that, Lisa, because it doesn't seem like Rod does much of anything. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. But I feel like there are. I feel like Rod doesn't have a huge impact. Now again, maybe he does. It could just be me, but it's just something that I haven't heard before. And honestly, I don't know that Kurtzman would allow that. One thing Kurtzman did that I think was ingenious, or what he has seemed to do, because I don't know, is that he has taken all the different episodes and given them showrunners who solely focus on that and who are good specifically in that instance. So, like McMahon, however you say his name, is very suited for Lower Decks. And then, who's the showrunner of Picard? I forget. Because I want to say he put someone else in charge of it. Terry Matalas, who I don't know a lot about. But I felt like it was someone else. I guess I was wrong on that. Anyway, each of the shows now have their own showrunners. It's not just him focused. I think your microphone gain is low. It could be me. Well, I can turn my microphone gain up. That might blow it out, though. Yeah, that's blowing it out. 1 second. How about now? Is that any better? You guys were complaining about that yesterday. So, 1 second. How about now? Is that any better? You guys were complaining about that yesterday. I think that's a little bit better. It's off on either side. 1 second. Whoa. Much better? Cool. And now you get to listen to me listening to me a couple of times. That's going to be a lot of fun for you. We're all friends on the Lore Reload. We are all friends on the Lore Reload. We're besties, as it were. Rip my car speakers. Well, that was the way it is. That's just God. That's just God is what that is. Interesting fun fact. So you guys know I'm not religious like at all. I'm an atheist. But one of the things I love doing in November and December, well, it's starting in October really. October, November, December is all the church events. It's so much fun. I really do enjoy like the community that churches bring together. Anyway, unrelated. Kurtzman's actually listening to people. Kurtzman, I think, is doing a pretty decent job at least trying to meld it with what fans want. And you'd be very hard pressed unless you have what was his name? Who's the guy that said that the children that died in the preschool or elementary school was a hoax, a false flag? Alex Jones. So unless you have Alex Jones on your channel, I think that you aren't delusional enough to think that things aren't moving in a good direction. Is my stream elements working? It should be, Locutus. Did you do a tip? Tips are having issues. But, and I fixed it too. That's really frustrating. Tips have been having issues. So if you tipped, then it wouldn't have done it. But I will read it to you if you like. But yeah, stream elements should be doing fine. Why? There wasn't a super chat. You guys are messing with me. I think that's what you're doing. You're trying to keep me off balance. Wolf 365 was an inside job. It was. That's just truth. The 10 or so years after the Dominion War would be an interesting period between the new exploration of the Delta and Gamma quadrants and healing after a war. I'm telling you, I would love, honest to God, I would give almost anything I would give up my, I'd give up the channel. I would give up what I have here. And if I was to be given a show, either be showrunner or hell, I'll just be on the writing staff. Just have me on the writing staff, or not even writing staff. I tell you what, I can't even. They don't want me to write for it. I will work as a cinematographer for them, to be on a Star Trek show that is like a year after Wolf 3.5, or not Wolf 3.5, is a year after the Dominion War. That is the dream job for me. I think that would be just wonderful. Like to have a story about Starfleet and the Federation fighting for its soul, and to see where we go from that. God, that'd be so good. Oh man. What's up? You and Kurtzman having pillow talk? Don't be jelly that I'm paid off by CBS. Don't be jelly. Let's see. It should be working, man. I don't know why it's not. Reload Studios. Hold on. I'll be happy to give that to you, though. Right here, Locutus Foyo. That works too. Okay, so yeah, that one as well. Yes, if you like... Destroy All Soy. Yes, if you like Social Justice Warrior Sword Trick, then you like... Destroy All Soy. That is cute. Look at you. So Destroy All Soy, my wonderful handbasket of an individual, my toaster strudel. Would you give me some examples? Like, let's give me your top 3 examples of why Alex Kurtzman is horrific. Specifically Alex Kurtzman. How he specifically destroyed Trek, or how he's made it social justice warrior. Your top 3 strongest, and we shall go through and we shall see live if the people agree. Perhaps I ain't above asking for money. It's how I keep my kids fed. So I mean, if you wanna support the channel, if you wanna make sure that I continue to make all this wonderful stuff for you, then consider becoming a Patreon. Patreon.com/Lore Reloaded, or doing a super chat, or whatever. I ain't above it. I am with it, boys. Still waiting for Destroy All Soy, because I'm sure he is going to just have ultimate destruction. There are probably people out there who had low expectations of Kurtzman, seeing the Dark Universe was a failure. The Dark Universe. I feel like I should know what that is. I mean, I think Star Trek Discovery Season 1 was pretty bad. Which legitimately a lot of people can have issues over. I will say straight out, I think that it is the most divisive. It has destroyed, it helped, if not pushed, destruction of unity of the fandom. I cannot think of a worse season. I cannot think of a worst episode that divided the fandom and caused all kinds of unnecessary hurt and divide. I will be the first. I could see Starfleet and the Federation being at odds after the Dominion War and after Shenzhen Fall, military versus exploration. Yeah, I think that'd be an interesting thing. Kurtzman did good with Transformers Prime. I did not know he was Transformers Prime. By the way, don't be soy. Please put @Lore Reloaded so I can see your 3 justifications on why our lad did not do well, why Kurtzman destroyed Trek. If you're going to comment again, because I can understand if that soy milk that you were sucking on right before you said Kurtzman sucked, if your fingers that you use for Doritos, if there's too much Dorito dust as you look down at your keyboard with all of those wrappers of candies around it, and lamenting how your gut is so big that you have not seen your nethers in so long. If you don't want to have that conversation because you realize your lot in the universe, I understand. But if you want to destroy me live on live stream, definitely give me those 3. How would the Federation react to the Imperium? They would first attempt to have a conversation and come to an agreement, have some kind of peace accord, and then get absolutely destroyed by them. I drink soy milk. Also, I have free Doritos from work. I also get free candy from work. As a result, my gut is huge. Yes, Locutus, but your nethers are so large that you can see them. And that's really where I was going with that. So it's all right. Yeah, pretty sure the worst things in Discovery Season 1 can be blamed on Fuller. So the problem is the mentality. Like, both behind the camera and in front of it, Trek went out of its way to say that you are a bad person. Discovery Season 1 went out of its way to say you are a bigot, you are wrong, you are lesser than. And who had that mentality? I think there's a little nuance there, but that was what Discovery Season 1 was all about. And they're still fighting that to this day on both sides, because they're becoming more open, more wanting other people to watch, which is pissing off the left. Or the We Are Starfleet. I'm sorry, because, even though it's plain to see, everybody knows it, we can't actually say which side it is. And then on the critics side, or the far right, the Phantom Menace side, they're still pissed off at the mere existence. So they're still fighting it to this day. People don't like Section 31 in Discovery because it was out in the open and they thought it would stay in the shadows. Yeah, I don't think that was a good choice. I think it creates some continuity issues for sure. The only way it doesn't create continuity issues is if you fully subscribe to what I've stated the Federation is, which is a wrong think, information restrictive society that forces people to believe what they want them to believe, because that is the only way you could shut Section 31 down. That would be the absolute only way. Picard has lots of siblings who would welcome him back at any time. He had only like a brother, didn't he? Didn't he have a brother? And that's it? Or did he have more than that? I don't know. I know he was born in British-owned France, though, so that's always a positive. Ah, the Borg. I see. I see. So it's some sort of utopia society? Utopic society? Yes. Yes, it is. It is some sort of utopic society. So, unrelated question, but if you guys could settle an argument for me, which sounds better? April Chambers or James Vivier? How about this? We all agree High Guardian Spice is canon to Trek. It is, in fact. That is true. Truth. The Phantom Menace is mad that New Trek breaks the Lando Calrissian rule. The future can have less than 0.25 people per cubic. Oh my god. It is so freaking... It is beyond annoying. Because here's the thing. I would say that that's the joke, Bacasta. High Guardian Spice is Dune Universe. Yeah, that's the joke. I don't think they're that open about it, but there is a lot of dog whistling when you go through the videos. There just is. From Nerdrotics to even what's our lad, the guy I did last time? I forget his name. He's Irish, I think. He has a beard, red hair. Forget his name. He used to be atheist, but he's really against controls and being forced to do stuff and hierarchies, and was an atheist but became Christian because he's against controls. I don't know. Oh, so you guys are big on the Chambers spectrum. I didn't mean to do anything to that message. Okay. Dave Cullen. There it is. Thank you. Yeah. Computing Forever or Dave Cullen. Yeah. From one to the other, there's actual dog whistles. It's pretty crazy. But I don't think they're that blatant. He went, wow. I am honestly not surprised by that. As insulting as that is, him becoming religious and then going full conspiracy theorist would fit. I am not surprised by that in the slightest. I forgot his actual name was Computing Forever. Huh. Anyway. I see a pattern here. They introduce an aspect that breaks canon. After listening to fan backlash, they hurriedly try to fix the issue in the most convoluted way possible. So, here's something. I don't know that I believe that necessarily, Remington. But I will say that they aren't as concerned with continuity, which actually started in Deep Space Nine, got really bad in Voyager, only continued in Enterprise, and has went on from there. I do think that if they do get backlash, they do try to retcon it a little bit. Yeah. If you hate something enough, you'll see it anywhere. Help me out with that, Remington. That's why I can give credit for the environment Picard Season 1 inhabits, all the nihilism, the exploitation, and dehumanizing of android life, now called synthetic. I'm hoping Season 2 shows this. Season 2, you're talking about Season 4? Because they already did Season 2. Oh, no, you're right. Picard Season 2. I don't know why I just confused that with Discovery. It'd be interesting, but I don't think they'll go into it. I really do wish they kind of go into... And I wish... So you guys, for those of you who watched, if you watch my original videos when it comes to Star Trek, and I was talking about Federation laws and how Starfleet doesn't apply to Federation, I should have used, and maybe I didn't because I just didn't want to deal with the backlash, which is on me. I really shouldn't let that impact. I don't know why I didn't use it, because I did think of it before I did the video. Anyway, when you consider the synthetics aren't people, and yet in Measure of a Man, that only further proves that Starfleet law does not follow Federation law. There are literally two systems. High Guardian Spies, terrible animation, even worse voice acting, overcomplicated drawing style, and writers. Feminazi writers? It did have good tropes. What do you mean by feminazi writers? I'm curious about that. Got a real question for you. I recently seen Star Trek Enterprise. Just noticed some stuff that I found strange, and I don't know if they were deliberate or not. Lack of surveillance inside of what? Time shift. You set me up, and then you didn't say. Where are these? What's surveillance? Or are you talking about inside of the ship? They've always had a surveillance problem with the ships. People would get on the Enterprise and TNG all the time. Happened with the original series, too. When will Captain Chakotay show up in Star Trek Prodigy? I don't know. I'd be curious to see that as well. In The Next Generation, Season 4, Episode 24, The Mind's Eye, the Romulan tampering with Geordi's visor. Yeah, they always had security issues. Always. Why no surveillance in the ship? They don't know exactly where the enemy is when they got boarded. Yep. I think that was probably meant to show how archaic it was. I guess they did in TNG, DS9, and others know at least a roundabout area of where they were. Though they would have issues not knowing where they are on the ship. So, I mean, it kind of continues the trope. But I guess it's like, oh, this is archaic, we don't know how to look for it, which doesn't make a ton of sense. And I think you could have written around it. I think you could have security that makes sense and still write around it. A little harder, but... Sorry, driving around, but dog whistling. What does that mean? So dog whistling... In politics, a dog whistle is the use of a coded or suggestive language in political messaging to garner support from a particular group without provoking opposition. The concept is named for ultrasonic dog whistles used in shepherding, which are audible to dogs, but not to humans. If you rewatch them and you look at it from a non-biased position, I think you see all of that. Now, whether they are doing it on purpose or they are just pandering and not realizing, we might be able to argue on that one. But it's definitely there. Because anytime I've done videos, diversity with 90% white female writers in High Guardian Spy, I don't know. I've not seen the show or the movie that you're referring to. I will say it's not diverse if you have only white females, though. So your child did love, kiss, flower, love, I loves, much in love, want to marry and have a baby, which then will somehow summon a genie, April. So you don't want all that, is what you're telling me? Did Admiral Layton get to fight in the Dominion Wars once the war got fired up into a shooting war? I don't think so. I think that they probably kept him barricaded. Today I just found out the Alachi were in Enterprise and not just Star Trek Online. Well, good day, Disco Dragon, for the win. Well, that makes me sad that you don't want those things. April. Makes me sad. Enterprise Season 2, Bounty. Internal sensors can detect weapons on stun, but in Undiscovered Country, they can only detect a phaser on vaporize. Maybe because of all the false starts and stuff for security reasons or training or whatever, they had to not do that, I guess. If I had to guess. Well, I guess this is what I'm going to have to do then. You don't want mutineers like Layton and Maxwell. Even if you assumed that they were, even if you assume that they weren't going to like be traitors or mutineers again, I just can't see the Federation being okay with that, you know? NX Enterprise did have cameras in the ship in one episode, but could be wrong. Well, I mean, they're inconsistent, so... This is going to surprise everyone, but Trek being inconsistent, pretty crazy. So the other topic a lot that we were talking about was the USS Protostar. I actually like the Protostar. I know a lot of people. What's going on, Cedric? I know a lot of people have issues with it. Probably because it's a kids show. I like the Protostar. It's pretty decent. By the way, I hate what they did with Ensign Rowe in the novel. I don't know what did they do with Ensign Rowe in the novels. The Protostar itself has a pretty sleek design. It seems updated, and something that would naturally be a natural push for Starfleet designs, especially with the creation of shuttles and things. I'm going to give it a little while, probably past season 1, then do a breakdown on it. The real reason is that the security budget is redirected to putting rocks in the walls and explosives in the walls. True. True. It has the worst bridge ever, you say? It might indeed have the worst bridge ever? Let me see. Hold on. Okay, not sure why that's not working. Alright, whatever. Hold on. USS Protostar Bridge. Count on me through thick and thin. By the way, guys, I have to pretend to be alright because I'm talking to you guys, but based on information just given, because someone walked out of the room, my heart, it is broken. So... You know what's interesting? And when I do a breakdown of that bridge, I'm going to make people eat it. I agree that it's very, very opened up. I think you could probably excuse that with the fact that this is a training vessel, maybe. So maybe they're trying to give them room, make it more spacious. But so many people were like, the reason why it's opened up is because of cameras, bro. Cameras. This was made in Hollywood, bro. It is wrong to love Sub Rosa. Yeah, it makes you actually a bad person. This was made in Hollywood, bro. You can't make bridges that work correctly, bro. So it's funny when they actually have, animated bridges that it's even bigger. But anyway, I would say it's probably because it's for cadet training, if I had to guess. I have that ship and the bridge is not near that look. Okay. Always thought the NX Enterprise and Discovery's bridge designs were the worst, just didn't care for them. They have positives and negatives. I think, honestly, I like them. I think they work for Starfleet. They're not the best, though. Sub Rosa is a ghost story that is creepy in all the wrong ways. Yes, I find stories about sexual assault where literally a woman is drugged with something that is worse than cocaine so that her body can be used for sex as a really creepy episode. Yes, I find it much more creepier that people really like it and look at it as some kind of romantic thing when it is quite obviously not. That's me personal. Everybody has their own, different strokes, different folks. Why does the USS Prodigy, you mean the USS Protostar bridge, look more like a Star Wars bridge? Because everything you see, Dustin, is Star Wars. That's why. Everything, Dustin, is Star Wars. I don't think it looks Star Wars. I don't think it looks Star Wars at all. I think that's unfair. I think it's open, but Star Wars bridges usually aren't that. Usually when you have the capital ships and it's more open, they even CIS, Confederacy ships, they have a similar layering to that, but they're not as spread out. They're more closely together, I think. Given the abilities of their holographic rooms, there's no reason for a bridge. Just stick a person individually in a holopad. Yeah, the only reason I think that you could argue not to do that is if the power went out, then you're pretty boned. Star Wars doesn't use holographic displays on the... a lot of people are like, well, it's the future, and you can't make things look futuristic that were made in the 60s. I do think that Star Wars disproves that. Shout out to the person, I don't think you want me to say your name out loud, Locutus for supporting the channel, saying Laura will do nearly anything on live chat for money. I will. That is true. I will do nearly anything. Unfortunately, my heart was broken by a person I had non-plutonic love for, so I'm a little bit sadder, but I generally will do anything. Other than the Millennium Falcon, we only see bridges on Star Destroyers, so we don't see bridges in Star Wars when you think about it. No, we see a lot of... I disagree. We see a lot of bridges in Star Wars. I will say that... Well, a lot is general. We see quite a few bridges in Star Wars. Specifically the movies is what I'm thinking about. But when it comes to smaller ships, I'll agree we don't see a lot of the bridges themselves. Clone Wars is canon, though, right? So we would see quite a few in Clone Wars. But, I don't know. What did you do? Apparently, your child wanted us to get married, and you said no. You said no. You weren't there. You didn't do it. So long as you dinner light the candle, it's all good, Lore. As long as you din the candle? Okay. Star Wars is in the past. That's right. It was a long, long time ago. I have failed. I have failed. I'm a sham. I am a CBS shill. I don't even watch this stuff. Never seen one episode of Star Wars nor Star Trek. I couldn't even tell you where you could go see it. I thought by Star Wars 8 and 9, they had some hollow light controls. Dene. Okay, do not. Yeah, but I just didn't have the A. It messes me up. That's the creepy Scottish guy from Sub Rosa. Gotcha. Darn, J.J. Abrams screws up the bridge for the rest of us. True. Star Wars is less nautical, so you have more cockpits than bridges. Yeah, I never thought about that, but that's true, isn't it? Huh. I never thought of it. I like. See, this is why we keep you around, Marvin. You're one of the smarter ones in the bunch. Not to say the others aren't smart. But you're one of the smarter of the smarts. Something interesting is the prequels did was reverse the used future look of the OT to create a disturbingly sterile aesthetic. I think say what you will about Kathleen Kennedy and all that, but I really think they did a good job with at least keeping the technology consistent. I think that maybe, and honestly, when you look at it, you could make an argument that Star Wars technology is stagnating, that it's actually a dystopian world, but I think that they should have some advancement there, unless it's meant to be a society that's in stagnation. There's a Babylon 5 feature film about Rangers and weapon officer goes into the holodeck and it creates the environment around her, and she floats in the metal and the weapons like punches and kicks to fire. There's a Babylon 5 feature. Do you know the name of this feature film? If you have a problem with J.J. Abrams, think Red Letter Media. You know what's interesting? I think Red Letter Media... Here's the thing about Red Letter Media. I really, really like Red Letter Media. I think they're wonderful. I think they have some pretty great jokes, and I think they can create some great, like, I don't want to say movies or films. Their movie was all right, but I really think that, like, what he did with the Star Wars universe and the Star Trek universe was awesome. It doesn't really hold water if you're anything other than a normie. Like, his criticisms of Trek don't really, if you know what you're looking at, hold water, but it's still really entertaining and really good. So I would say that I love what they put together. I don't necessarily always agree with the criticisms. Red Letter Media does some good stuff, but they fall into we hate this no matter what approach at times. I can agree with that too. I can somewhat agree with that. I actually, one of two of my videos was featured on their on one of their episodes, which was fun. They didn't do it. They're like, hey, this is Lord Reloaded, he rocks or anything, but they were showing examples, and two of mine popped up, which was fun. One of the most annoying plot holes or inconsistencies in Star Trek for me personally is when they find the cloaked planet and Starfleet technology didn't become insanely more powerful. Which one was that? They find a couple of cloaked planets. So, which one specifically? Is this slipstream weird warp drive? What? How do you think the bum affected the Dominion? The burn affected the Dominion? It depends on how far the burn went out. I kind of... I don't know how I feel about the burn impacting the entire galaxy. If it impacted the entire galaxy, I think that means the Borg win. Because the Borg will ultimately destroy everything because they didn't really rely on warp drive. If it was regional and just hit the alpha and beta quadrants, I think that's more intriguing. But assuming that it hit the gamma quadrant and it destroyed most of the Dominion fleets, I think we would have seen civil war, and I think that we would have seen a fracturing. And while the Dominion probably still existed, I think that it would have became like the Wild West. You found me from a Zoom call, Jackson? I'd be very interested. What Zoom call did you find me from? On Friday. Was there a Zoom call on Friday? I heard Star Wars isn't stagnating. It's more like moving in circles. So tech is developed, used for some centuries, gets replaced by new and forgotten, and then rediscovers. I would define that specifically as stagnation. I think that is definitively stagnation. Blaming JJ is like hiring Dr. Nick Rivera in Zoidberg for a medical OP and wondering why the spleen. I don't think JJ's that bad. Friday field trip? So let me guess. It was a virtual field trip, if I had to guess. No reason to assume the Dominion uses dilithium. Yeah, I think they actually use similar to warp drive, based on what we've heard. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure. J.J. Abrams isn't coherent. I disagree. I think J.J. Abrams was pretty decent. Well, cool, Jackson. Glad you liked the channel. Hopefully you like the channel. Not exactly a kid's channel, but I hope you enjoy it. Don't insult Zoidberg. Again, J.J. Abrams, I don't think is necessarily a bad producer or director. I think that he did pretty decent jobs. I mean, I'll say it. I think Star Trek, J.J. Abrams' Star Trek, I think most all of them are pretty good. I think it's an interesting take on Trek, like changing it. I think it's a intriguing what-if story. Oh, and the Protostar, is that warp drive or slipstream? You know, I'm not sure. I'd have to go rewatch. Do I think the Babylon 5 remake is going to be any good, since it is coming to a network that considered Ruby Rose too old and is willingly developing the live-action Powerpuff Girl? I think JMS is a wonderful storyteller, and I think that as long as his politics haven't overtaken him, I think that it'll be good for his writing. I don't think it's going to be the Babylon 5 we had. I think it's going to be like the remake of Battlestar Galactica. But I think that's okay, because we don't need a new Babylon 5 that is basically the old one. We need a new Babylon 5. We need a remake. We need to see a different story. In DS9 Abandoned, what would have happened if Starfleet Medical got the Jem'Hadar that early on? So if they'd gotten a virus for the Jem'Hadar, Section 31 probably would have gotten it. He's a wonderful storyteller, except for One More Day. Was One More Day really bad? I don't remember which one that is. Or is that something different? JMS One More Day. Oh, Spider-Man One More Day? It's a four-part comic book connecting the three main Spider-Man series. Okay. Never read it. Couldn't talk to it. I humbly disagree. we didn't know we needed DS9 up to the moment we got it. Okay? But Deep Space Nine isn't a rehash. Deep Space Nine was something completely different. But it's the last of the Babylon stations. You can only go back or do Crusade or Range. You know, I think I've talked about this before. When I was a kid and I watched it, and I didn't watch it religiously, but when I saw Babylon 5, I literally thought there was a series, a Babylon 4 series, and like possibly a Babylon 3 series. I thought that this was literally like the 5th season of the show, or that it was the 5th series. Like you had Babylon 1, 2, 3, and 4, and how those didn't work, and so now it's doing Babylon 5. Oh, man. The Trek movies were always normie-driven more than fan-driven. Maybe the exceptions were TMP, Star Trek 6. Yeah, I'd agree with that, actually. I'd really, really agree with that. And you can tell because the fandom isn't huge fans of Star Trek the movies. Babylon Vanilla, I don't know. Wasn't Deep Space Nine supposed to be a starbase on a planet original? No. I've never heard that. Maybe, but I've never heard that. Well, they sort of had that in a few episodes. Okay. How do you think the future episodes of Picard will affect Star Trek Online? I think that they're pretty big interacting, so I think that there will be quite a few intermixings, but I don't know. I think that if you're playing Star Trek Online, then you pretty much are going to like what they come out with. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It seems hard for me to it seems like it would be rare that someone plays Star Trek Online and doesn't at least like some aspects of either Discovery or Picard or Lower Decks or all of them. DS9 was supposed to be a colony originally? I have never heard that. Was Star Trek Deep Space Nine supposed to be a colony? According to co-creator Berman, he and Piller considered setting the new series on a colony planet, but they decided a space station would appeal more to viewers and would save money required for a land-based show's on-location shooting. They did not want the show set aboard a starship because Star Trek The Next Generation was still in production. And in Berman's words, it seemed ridiculous to have two shows, two cast of characters that were off going where no one has gone before. Okay. By the way, you want to see something silly, you should see why Salty Trekker doesn't like the fact that that it says no one has gone before. Apparently man only refers to mankind. And changing it to no one is basically one of the worst things you can do. Babylon 5 has both ancient aliens and people with a fitting haircut. Well, there you go. Star Trek Discovery does feel a lot better after the time shift way to the future. Well, again, Kurtzman listened to people. That's what people wanted. Kurtzman listened and they did it. So yeah, I don't like any part of Star Trek Discovery, nor Star Trek Picard, but I like Star Trek Online. Okay, Valor One. I think it's rare. That's why I said rare. That's why I didn't say done. Down with man. I'm not a man. True. Why do you think the Protostar doesn't have the shields from later TNG and DS9 that let ships fly into suns? I would plot. I would probably say that maybe the way it's changed, I guess. Or maybe because of the type of
we all share an insider, right? And they have other insiders, and I have other insiders. And, listen, insiders are insiders.
Sven Bulen super chatted $11.55. Why sending USS Discovery to the future while there are other options to go to the future? Even there must be people left behind with info. Or Control must figured it out after a time.
Why were they sending the USS Discovery to the future while there are other options than going to the future? So first off, I will never defend some of the decisions made in seasons 1 and season 2, even season 3 of Discovery. The whole Control plot arc, I think, was done poorly and a bad idea. So the ship couldn't destroy it. The ship wouldn't let itself be destroyed. Yet somehow it couldn't defend itself against Control. I don't understand that. So they sent it into the future so Control would never find it. Why didn't they do anything else? Because that's what they said, I guess. I honestly don't know. I don't think that was good. By the way, thanks so much for supporting the channel. It is the only way I keep the lights on. Aaron Nichols says, better go full woke. They'll support your views or not. May have to work. Don't understand what you're saying, Aaron, if you want to expand on that. Or I do like Burnham from Star Trek Online because they made her feel like an actual character and not a Mary Sue. I think everyone is a Mary Sue on Star Trek, but she is definitely the Mary Sue-iest in Discovery Season 1. I could have lived with a human girl raised by Vulcans, but not Sarek and Amanda. It would have also been nice to see some average Vulcans and not elites like Spock's. I agree. I'm right there with you. As I said, you're not going to see me defend like plot ideas. Generally, you're not going to see me defend plot ideas from Season 1 of Discovery. Or even Season 2. I think Season 3 got better. The burn was stupid, but still. Well, it was stupid because of how it came about. If they had done it differently, it might have been better. The Protostar has regular warp drive, but has teased a visual of some third nacelle type thing popping up and taking off quick. Plus, Jan Korn Pog says it has Z warp cores and something else. It has Z warp core? Okay. Anybody know what this is going to be? I mean, it could be the slipstream we were talking about. Carlos, you may want to refresh. We're not talking about... Carlos may want to refresh. It has 2 warp Covfees. Y'all remember when that was a thing? Covfees. Star Wars is full woke. I think it's 98% woke. Yeah, I figured. I knew what you're talking about, Winston. I was just giving you a hard time. Anyone else feel like there was so much more that could be done with the Borg, especially given our changing notion of AI? I feel like the Borg weren't utilized as best that they could be. I think Control wasn't utilized either. I wouldn't have at any point went with Control, but if you're going to do Control, I think it could have been done better. I'm doing well, Multigunman. By the way, guys, I actually bought the 2 books, and I'm talking to the author of the Romulan War series, and I'm going to actually do a complete breakdown of that series. I am excited about that, to be honest. Especially since I'll have the... especially since I will have the actual author that I'll be able to talk to. It says it's supposed to be delivered by today, but it's doing that thing where I'm guessing it's not. What? Where are all those voices? What are you talking about, Danvin? What were all those voices? I'm not sure. Oh, are you talking about with the Borg? That would be the collective. Why is everyone so focused on the space elves? I personally love a story with a more warlike Andorian. I think Andorians are interesting. Is Ghostbusters Afterlife on yet?
OG-san Howard super chatted $5. Wait, this isn't the Ghostbusters Afterlife forum?
I actually want to watch that. Is it out yet? It's coming November 19th. Okay, so we're live, baby, just so you know. What's up, girl?
I know, I just wanted to show people Pokemon.
Oh, okay. Sure.
And the trailer I made, I don't want to show all of them.
It's right here. Which one do you want to show?
Give me a sec. Ah, here's the first one. Whoa.
Here, I'll hold it for you.
It's a moon cat. Sailor moon cat.
It's a Sailor Moon cat. Ooh.
Yeah.
Is it saving, is it having love by daylight and saving lives by moonlight? Is that it?
No, but this one is.
What's that one?
It's just a sun inspiration.
Is it a sun cat?
Yes.
Okay. These?
Yes, he's a ghost type.
Ghost type?
No, this one. That one was just a pre-made drawing.
Oh, is it pre-made? No, that's an OG one. You did that one.
Yeah, I did.
That's an OC.
Yeah.
Oh, there's your Hyperion. Is that the space Hyperion? Ghost Hyperion?
It's the fairy type, actually.
Oh, a fairy type Hyperion. Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
and
and there's the
custom layout I decided to.
yeah that people could go if it was a game. Cool. Anything else before we get off?
Yeah, just one more.
One more, you say?
My favorite. The one time up there. Down
The one
here.
time you want to show it? Oh yeah, I remember you showing me that one.
This is my favorite one.
And you can see a soul, right?
yeah, so
That's what the.
We all share an insider, right? And they have other insiders, and I have other insiders. And listen, insiders are insiders.
Maisie Summers
Hold on,
super
one second,
chatted $3.56. Money for baby law to Jen and ice cream.
Okay, so we got some money for ice cream, so say thank you. And then explain what we were saying, because it was talking while you were doing that. So what were you saying about you said it was a ghost type?
and I just I've actually gotten to the trend of seeing their soul.
Oh, so you can see their soul? You can see the souls of that, but can see the souls of the other ones?
Well, the Blastoise one you can, and any
Okay.
other, but that's about it.
Oh, is that the trainer?
Yes, that's me if I was a trainer, right?
Well,
Also,
and you did the ghost type, right?
There's always a psychic trainer in every game, so I decided to be that psychic. Also,
Oh, okay.
yeah, I actually started this. Also, I'd be the one to just sit with a hoodie and sweatpants.
Who doesn't love that?
People that don't like comfort
Exactly.
or get hot easily, whichever you are.
Communists.
And that.
Yeah, love you. Thanks for supporting the channel. That specifically will go. I will take them out today probably and get some ice cream. I won't because my youngest doesn't feel the best, but I will tomorrow when she feels better. Ooh, and sprinkles. Who doesn't love sprinkles? I'm waiting for it to pop up. OG-san, that's why I'm not talking. There it is.
OG San Howard super chatted $5. Money for sprinkles, etc.
I assume the super chat reader is
We all
free?
share an insider, right? And they have other insiders, and I have other insiders. And listen, insiders are insiders.
Ryan Howe super chatted $4.01. Do you think it's a weird coincidence that the plot of Disc S2 and Picard S1 dealt with artificial life? Also have more ice cream.
So you're assuming the super chat reader is freebie software? No, that's actually Fandom Menace. That's Fandom Menace quotes from them saying. I actually have quite a few of them. I'm surprised the other ones haven't popped up yet. But just them saying all kinds of different stuff. Saying this is definitely going to happen, all that good stuff. Do I think that it was a coincidence that the plot of Discovery Season 2 and Picard Season 1 dealt with artificial life? I don't think that was in any way a coincidence. I think that it is something we are moving towards and people are getting scared of it. What is an insider exactly? Yeah, an insider, according to the Fandom Menace, little known fact, is 4chan and Reddit. She loves drawing. She actually can draw really good Pokemon. Like you'd almost think it was Trace. I've watched her do it too, and she's not tracing. I've watched her draw. Like a Pikachu, I've watched her draw Hyperion, a Jigglypuff, but she has actually drawn some intricate ones. Jane saying, hello, darling. What's going on? Lovely Jane, as they like to call you. I don't have an insider. Where do I get one? You go to 4chan and listen to what they write there. Coincidentally, I was just now doing my research on science fiction, and Star Trek is a good example. Oh, cool, Isaac. Kurtzman listened to something other than his inner monologue? Why, yes, Mike. If you actually watch what he's done from Season 1 on, he actually listens to people. It's crazy. I know. I'm as surprised as you are. Hope she's able to... Yeah, I do too. I try to support it. I have additional classes that she takes that I pay for her to do drawing, and I try to support her whenever I can. One second. Because I do YouTube, she wants to start doing YouTube. I'm not a huge fan of that, I'll be honest. But I for Christmas, I got her all of this stuff that will help her be a YouTube animator if she wanted to. So I got a thing that she can place over, and they can watch people draw while she talks and stuff like that. So I got a lot of it. I mean, Jane, it's hard not to flirt with you. I mean, you have mirrors. You know how this works. Though I have to be honest. I'm going to have to tell you. I'm going to break your heart unless you and me can talk her into it. Going to be marrying April. So those are facts. We're still debating whether it's going to be April Chambers or James VVA, though. At Lore Reloaded, the Phantom Menace is so full of themselves and no better than those they hate. I'd agree with that. Don't they realize that they're only hurting the Phantom? You know, here's the thing. The Phantom Menace as itself, and I'll obviously hashtag not all. The Phantom Menace, the creators themselves, I think have lost the plot for sure. But I think the audience they cultivate is worse. And that's what I hate about the Phantom Menace. Hashtag not all. Like, for instance, OG-san Howard is Phantom Menace, and I think he is a wonderful individual and quite articulate. So it's not everyone, but... As a Phantom Menace card-carrying member, I got 50 uncles who work for the top 50 companies. Done. Any theories on why the Diviner wants the Protostar so bad? What's so special about it? Not including the magic translator, of course. Well, I mean, all translators are magic. I think it's just Starfleet tech. You know what I'm wondering? I hope I'm wrong on this, but I have a horrid theory that I think is wrong, and I hope is wrong. I'm wondering if maybe... the Federation has been destroyed. Like, this is the 40th century or something, and the Federation has been destroyed. I'm hoping that's inaccurate, though. Is the Phantom Menace like the Freemasons or something? I would call them cult-like. I don't think they're the Freemasons, though. It's just, it's money. It's views, is what it is. By the way, am I on 4chan at all? Let's check out together, shall we? Sometimes they talk about me. A lot of times they don't. They stopped quite a bit now. So I don't think I'm on there. I haven't been on there recently. Nope. Looks like they've left me alone for the moment. I'll sometimes check on there just because I find it real interesting. By the way, thank you so much for being a 19-month member, OG-san. Wow, 19 months. That rocks, man. Thank you so much for supporting. Do we know what time Prodigy is? I don't think so. Have they said? After the Phantom Menace fans attacked Salty and said nothing, I was sobered up and no longer have any respect for the creator. I mean, long before what happened to Salty Trekker. Here's the thing. Here's my biggest issue with Phantom Menace, and there's a different, not all, obviously. They create fans that go out of their way to attack those who like Star Trek, and have chased people off of YouTube and have chased people off of Twitter. It's literally that they don't just hate Star Trek. They hate the fans of Disco era Star Trek. And I have a big issue with that.
OG-san Howard super chatted $5. All of it and more. My pleasure.
Post-burn, other than the USS Discovery Spore jump drive, what is the warp speed limitation of warp drive speed? I still guess it's like 9.9999993 or something like that, I'd assume. They haven't... they have Slipstream, but they haven't proven what... they haven't shown what the max speed is. Slipstream is apparently very dangerous, too. What gave you the idea that Prodigy takes place in the 40th century? By the way, I said magic translator because that's what Rock talks about. Oh, I didn't say it was in the 40th century. I'm just saying I'm concerned that it could be because unless I missed something, and I might have, they don't give us a specific date or like era, and I'm worried that the reason why the Protostar is there, why no one is at any point really concerned about it missing, is because the Federation or Starfleet was destroyed. Ryan says, like finding an abandoned Starfleet ship somewhere in the Delta Quadrant would make sense in a post-burn. I mean, yeah, that would, yeah, I guess that would make sense. I don't see you, Salty, Bird of Prey 5, etc. as part of the fandom. Bird of Prey 5, I think Bird of Prey 5 is a proud member of the fandom. I think he still watches them, I know for sure. I'm not. I'm anti-Fandom Menace, and I'm happy to be so. Of course, anyone who is any major channel that's on Fandom Menace that would love to come on, would like to talk on my channel, is welcome to, but they really have nothing to gain. I would have everything to gain in that, and they're not gonna. They're smart enough to know not to involve me. He's listening. Yeah, he's talked to me about it. He's last week he was talking about how they stopped talking about Salty or whatever. Maybe he stopped listening to him. I don't know. I would almost bet money Bird of Prey 5 is still Fandom Menace. I could be wrong. I absolutely could be. Never really got how warp speed works. Is it squared on 2? Yeah, they do not explain it on purpose. They go out of their way not to explain it. Oh, he's live right now too. We can ask him. I don't think it's that far. Chakotay is cast to play himself. Yeah, but he could play himself as a hologram. You know what they might do? Janeway, they might come up an issue and Janeway's like, well, I need to interact with my old crew, and so they bring him back or something.
OG-san Howard super chatted $5. Also, I don't hate STD and STP fans. I'm just disappointed. Like wayward children. SMH.
Those poor wayward children. The Chillins. Won't anybody think of the Chillins? They could have him as a hologram still. Do I prefer live action or animated series? I think Star Trek is best when it's live action. Lower Decks is awesome, though. I absolutely adore Lower Decks, but I think Star Trek is better live action. They've said Star Trek Prodigy will have Chakotay captain of ship looking for the Protostar. Okay. I didn't know that. I don't... Okay. How is Chakotay coming to Prodigy? As Captain Chakotay, let's see. John Beltran, in his still secret Prodigy story, is 3 other members of the show's recurring cast. Oh, he's recurring. So he's coming back. They're also going to have Jason Alexander. Jason Alexander. And maybe a part of the Captain Chakotay's crew. Huh. Okay. Warp speed is just ludicrous speed. That is fact. See, I don't even know if April is here anymore. She stopped listening to me, which hurts me in the feels. Typically, Lost Years and TNG and later the warp nacelles are built with twin sets of warp coils per nacelle. Sure. Hey, Laura, are you excited for Babylon 5 reboot with the OG? Right, we talked about that a little bit. I'm excited. JMS is a good storyteller. I hope he hasn't been infested with his politics and that's become a religion and that's going to be a big thing. But if not, I think it's going to be good. Hey, I've missed the last few streams. What does Laura think about Prodigy so far? I think it's good for what it is. I think it's a kid's show, and I don't like that it's canon. That bothers me. But beyond that, I think it's good. As you guys know, April is like absolutely beautiful. She's like so devastatingly beautiful. It's crazy. And luckily, unlike Peter Coffin, I have actually talked to her on the phone. Peter Coffin didn't talk to April, but he created a girlfriend. It's kind of sad. Seeing death is meaningless in Trek. Maybe they could still have Chakotay in the far future. That is absolutely true. They could. And death is meaningless. You don't ever die, you multiply. Star Trek Picard is 5 years after Voyager's return back to Earth. Cool. Mackerel Cat, what are you telling me? You said you're telling me, but you're telling me what? Space Ghost. That's who he's going to be. He's going to be Space Ghost. Maybe he'll have his own show, like a call-in show. Oh my God. Can I tell you, I watched Space Ghost when it actually came out, like the actual Space Ghost. And then when I was older, watching Space Ghost as like a podcast or a call-in show, that is epic. That is exactly how you do that is how you write a property. You specifically write it as a kid's show, and then you turn it into an adult show when those kids are adults. Well played, whoever did that. I was never exactly made aware that Star Trek feels that way about death. I mean, humans don't fear death or anything like that. They're not afraid to die. Who didn't love Space Ghost? Everybody loved Space Ghost. That was old school Adult Swim. And then I forget, I think there was, I forget what it was, but there was an old one that had a property where they brought in all their older properties too. I forget exactly what it is, but I remember the episode. It was like a court drama or whatever. And I remember the episode where they had Banjo-Kazooie. And banjos were basically a stand-in for guns. Do you guys remember what that series was called? Oh man, that's gonna bug me. And it ended. Oh, it was Harvey Birdman. Okay, because it ended with the kid getting the banjo out and like murdering his friend. Yeah, Harvey Birdman. Man, that's back in the day. I was a kid when those things come out. Back in the day. What about Futurama? Basically science fiction in Simpsons art style. That's true. Trek Culture has an interesting theory about Prodigy. They think that the slaves from the pilot might be children of the other ships stranded in the Delta Quadrant by the caretaker. I could see that. That would explain why they're all together, for sure. There's a spinoff now, Bird Girl. Oh, great. Gone SJW. Oh, my God. They put a girl and they made it SJW. It's a 2021? Wow. And oh my God, she doesn't have like the biggest, like, you know, assets and everything. It's so SJW. I was a huge Venture Brothers fan as well. Oh man. So I know I forget which episode it is, but you have Brock. And this is one of the funniest things I've ever remembered. So earlier in the episode, something happens to Brock, and so he's there's like 50 guys in front of him, and they're trying to escape. And the scientist guy, I forget his name, the scientist guy is like, "Hey, we got to leave." And Brock's like, "No, I'm going to stay." And they're like, "Are you sure?" And Brock just says, "They hit me with a truck," because they literally slammed a truck into him, and now he was going to make orphans of all of their children. It was so epic. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. I like Girdborough. How much do you think the writers do? I haven't watched it, but if it's anything along with the humor of like Birdman or Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law, I think it'll be great. It's the first episode. Yeah, it was so excellent. Just like they hit me with a truck. You knew that something was going to go down, and it was not going to end well. Here, we'll watch it together, and this is how we'll end it.
You get the ball.
Whoop.
Boys, I'll take care of these guys.
Are you sure? There's an awful lot of them.
They hit me with a truck.
Okay.
I don't care who you are. That's just good comedy. Everybody should watch that. Burgle is fun. It is the girl who does the Rachel Maddow parody on tuning out the news, trying to prove she is the one true heir of Colbert. One true heir of Colbert. It is all right, but not outstanding. Okay. Did anyone notice that the USS Protostar is 76884, while US Voyager is 74565? So what's the connection? It's just that it's in the 70,000s? Yeah, that was unfortunate. There's poor people. Good theory about Prodigy. That would explain why there are so many alpha and beta quadrant species there. Yeah, I think that is a good one. Venture Brothers walk so lower decks could run. True. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. April, will you marry me?